Hey, so I'm answering the last two questions from Jonathan Garfinkle of Lower Canada College, who wants to know what I think about bottled water. So I wrote about this in the Environmental Magazine fairly extensively, and also for thedailygreen.com. So the Jonathan asks why. What about uh, places that have tap water that's concerns about lead in old pipes, say in old buildings or old towns. So I think that's a significant issue of concern. As I mentioned in previous post, the tap water is extensively regulated in the U.S. and I believe in Canada as well, and it has extensive testing for lead. So at the municipal level, there's pretty little concern about too much lead being in there. The If you have concerns, you can always ask for the data to look at that. And there's inexpensive lead tests. It's definitely a good idea to go ahead and get your water tested. Certainly, if you have a private well, like a lot of people do, it's very recommended that you get that water tested regularly for lead and a wide range of contaminants, radon, other minerals, and metals, and these days it's not a bad idea to even look for things like pesticides. So it's a good idea to get water tested. The I guess it depends if you're dealing with new construction, new house, new neighborhood. It's pretty unlikely that there's going to be lead pipes. Dealing with old construction, there could be. You can always look at building records, but I think I, I understand that consumers don't necessarily want to do a lot of research to make sure that their water is safe, but I think you can get tested pretty quickly and easily, very inexpensively, and I think it's a good thing to do. In some ways, the bottled water question sort of highlights that it's a good idea to get the water tested. I don't think it's an either or thing of, well, if I don't want to spend the time or money to test, so I'll just get bottled water. For one, that's going to be a lot more expensive long term, but also you're using your water in other ways, even if you're not just getting a glass from the tap. It's going into the food that you're making. Uh, it's You're bathing with it, so you're going to be swallowing it. It's going to be coming in contact with your skin. So it's a good idea to, if you have any concern, depending on where you live, it's a good idea to get it tested, to check with your water authority, and to assure yourself that you've got good, safe water, especially if you've got young kids. Kids are much more susceptible to the damages of lead than adults are. So that's if you're at all concerned, it's a good idea for not just whether you're considering bottled water or not, but it's a good thing to consider. And if you're doing construction, to it's a good idea to work with lead abatement professionals if there's lead's going to be an issue at all, and make sure that you're switching out to the safest types of infrastructure. So I hope that answered that question. Last question Jonathan wants to know is he said, what would you suggest should be done about the situation concerning all the water bottle companies and the public? Um, I think I've answered it pretty well before. I don't think that I think we have a pretty good system in place. I would like to see bottled water, the actual quality, checked more. Uh, I mentioned in the last post about how tap water is much more closely regulated in terms of the quality. Sampling the data is public. It's not the case with bottled water. The industry says that they don't need to be because it's already tested more than, say, sodas. Uh, they'll often make that argument, and they say it's not intended to be tap water. Therefore, why should it meet the same standards? Uh, I think that it doesn't seem like a particularly fair argument to me as a consumer because my choice as a consumer is typically bottled or tap. So why would I pay more for something that has less testing, less strict standards? I don't. As a consumer, it doesn't seem like you're getting good value. Um, the It also makes me ask, well, why aren't other food products, other sodas, other things we could drink, why aren't they tested more stringently? Of course, the answer is economics, but I think we need to be having the conversation about, do we want to be ensure that our food is safer? So uh, I think that more regulatory oversight also of uh, drilling for water, how much water can be drawn down by water companies is very spottily regulated, and that's led to a lot of concerns of people who live near bottled plants, water bottle plants. They worry that their aquifers are going to be drained down. That's pretty unregulated, so I think that's an area where we should step up oversight and make sure that the industry isn't doing more harm than good in those areas. And I think that a educating the public and sort of encouraging companies to keep decreasing their environmental footprint. I mentioned earlier, companies have looked at increasing recycled content, uh, increasing the amount of their bottles that get recycled, making them way less to decrease shipping. All these things are good, and I think that there's ways that consumers and possibly government can encourage that. Whether it's giving tax breaks for environmental changes, giving tax breaks for preserving watersheds that companies might do. I think that there's a lot of the potential there to encourage the industry to go greener, to be more responsible, and to kind of end up with a win-win. So, as I mentioned sort of at the top of the previous post, I think it's okay if towns, government agencies want to say, we're not going to spend town money on bottled water for employees. We're going to encourage them to bring water. I think it's fine if, I think it's fine if companies want to do that too. I don't think the bottles need to be banned, but I think that encouraging people to drink from the tap and to make sure that our tap water is safe, I think is a good thing to do. So that concludes all my thoughts on that. I hope it's been interesting.